Hello, and welcome to the Gooseboyz podcast. I am the host, Aaron, and
I am the ghost, Sherwin.
haha, introduced himself when cutting off my intro. Hilarious. This is a podcast where we read a Goosebumps book and watch the correlating episode and then talk about it and do some dumb shit at the end. And this week, we are talking about Phantom of the Auditorium. I think it was Goosebumps like 24 or something. I don't fucking know. We should probably have that information.
Isn't it right up on your screen there?
It was, in fact, Goosebumps 24. I did remember. Should never second guess myself. I'm never wrong. So, this book starts out with Brooke Rogers and Zeke Matthews. They're doing a play about a phantom. But they're gonna go back in the story a little bit. They start out saying they met a phantom when they were doing this play.
Wait. They didn't say they met a phantom.
Yeah, they did.
Play.
They said it was the scariest night of their life.
I don't remember that. Is this from the book or the show?
The book.
Okay, I thought the teacher was trying to tell a scary story.
No. When did you read this?
No, wait, that was the show. No, I read it like 2 hours ago.
I read it like an hour ago. Well, it took me like 2 hours. So they're talking about how that, and then, it zooms back to when they're at school, and she's all like, whatever, she's going through her locker, and then Zeke shows up and punches her locker.
Oh, yeah, but she wasn't scared because she knew it was him.
She knew it was Zeke, that fucking jokester, always playing these pranks.
She doesn't think about him like he's cute or anything.
Yeah, so that's... It took me until the second chapter where I have a note, wait, Brooke is a girl?
Yeah, she said before, when she's saying, my best friend is Zeke, and he's a boy, and the other girls think it's weird, but I don't.
See, no, she didn't say...
I'm not like the other girls.
She didn't say the other girls, she just said some girls think he's cute. So I was thinking, Brooke Rogers, this is some boy, and he's
Did she say she had long hair?
Yeah, but I was thinking it's a boy with long hair.
Beautiful
named Brooke,
boy.
who
doesn't wear makeup like the other girls.
She didn't say other girls. And I thought it was weird in my mind. It was like, is this like a gay thing? Is R.L. Stine that progressive? And then, no, it's a girl.
Oh, no, it's a girl.
Really disappointed when I saw that line that was like, it became very clear that Brooke is a female character. She's not a very strong one, honestly. But that's not really the point.
What do you mean strong? Like physically strong or...
Emotionally, she's not really brave. She doesn't handle this situation very well. She just kind of freaks out and runs away and pushes people.
I didn't really care for anyone in the story.
I liked Zeke, honestly. I thought he was fine. I think he was a nice young man. He was playing pranks. He was going a little far, but nothing like psychotic.
They couldn't argue their way out of a paper bag.
No.
To defend themselves.
No, they could not. They forgot all the pertinent information anytime it was necessary. But they're all excited about this creature feature festival that's going on the next day.
I'm not familiar with this franchise.
It's
creature
movies at the cinema, and one of them is supposed to be in 3D. 3 fucking D, dude.
When did this book come out?
Like 1990 something.
The episode was December 1st, 95.
Let's click over here.
This has been like a year or so before that. Early 90s 3D.
Yeah, the book came out in 94. So...
Red and blue.
Zeke's older brother is, he's grounded, as always. Apparently he's a bigger prankster.
Oh, yeah, because he can't give him a drive.
Can't give him a ride to the fest, but something more important's going on anyway. And Brooke's just, racking her mind. Keep in mind, I still think this is a boy at this point.
I don't know why.
I just assumed. Maybe I should check my biases.
Check the pronouns.
I was reading it pretty quick. So they go up to the casting list.
Took you 2 hours to read this?
Took me 2 hours to fucking read this. Well, I'm taking these fucking notes the whole time, and I went and did other things during it, but it was over the course of 2 hours. And yeah, I'm a slow fucking reader. So she gets up to the cast list and looks, and there's a note that says she's suspended from school.
Brooke whatever.
Brooke Rogers.
Brooke Rogers.
I thought that was that's a cool dude's name. That's a cool dude's name. And then
Brooke is usually
but I've met a Brooke. That's a dude. It's a name.
I haven't.
I met him once. He was not a very nice guy.
I don't believe you.
Well, it's true. I've never been known to...
Confirmed girl's name only.
I've never been known to make up anything.
Brooke the skeleton, he's pretty cool.
He's a boy. There you go, One Piece character. But in typical Goosebumps fashion, it was a fake out. It was a note from Zeke.
Always a fake out.
Always a fake out. This book has like 10 fake outs. Just every chapter there's some kind of fake out. But Brooke's not very mean or nasty in any way. She made a very big point about how saying she's not mean or nasty. So she doesn't...
She likes horror movies.
Loves horror movies and clearly is in love with Zeke.
She's not mean about it.
Yeah. She's
not in love with Zeke. She made it very clear that she was not interested in Zeke in any fashion, unlike all the other girls.
Read between
the other girls. I think Zeke's pretty cute, and he has long, stringy hair, I think.
Read between the lines. She said his freckles were cute.
He's tall, and the freckles, he doesn't like the freckles, but they disappear in the summer anyways.
Yeah. I don't know, I'm still wearing these. So...
Unlike the other girls.
They
like Zeke. She doesn't really care. He's her best friend. She's never thought of him that way because their parents or their moms both went to the same bowling league and then realized they lived on the same street when they were little. So he's like, yeah, it's
like
platonic.
Best friends. Nah, they're totally gonna fuck later.
But at this point, you still think she's a boy.
No. I found out she was a girl here in this chapter when she was cast as a girl, and I had to like go back and reread a paragraph like 3 times to decipher that it's like, wait, other girls? That's
like other girls.
I was very confused for a second there. But Tina is a cunt and shows up and starts talking about how like, oh, this place cursed. And then the teacher is like, yo, don't fucking talk about that shit.
That was in the show, she said it was cursed. In the book, she just wanted her part. Like, straight up. She's her understudy.
She also was telling the story because her grandfather went to the school when it was happening, and he said the play, The Phantom, is cursed.
I thought it was Zeke telling the story.
Nope, it was Tina. Because Tina's grandfather is the one. That was the one thing that was the same in the show and the book. Did you read this?
Yeah, I did. I know that Tina was a real bitch.
Tina is a bitch in the book.
In general.
In the show, she was like, she just had less screen time to be a bitch.
She was kind of being a little snobby.
She was a little snobby and definitely not, they were not on good terms.
Break a leg, Brooke.
As they say. So... The story of the curse is that 72 years ago, they put on this show in the same auditorium, but the lead role of the Phantom, he disappeared before they opened, and there's nobody knew. So then they canceled the play and never performed it again until this very play. But then someone points to the Phantom standing in the doorway. They never did this play.
What?
These notes are incomprehensible.
I thought that was for effect.
It was for a bit, but I'm going to edit it to not be.
She has allergies. She's sneezing all the time.
She's sneezing all the fucking time. Yeah. Miss Walker vanishes into fucking thin air. And then...
It's a trapdoor.
It's a trapdoor for the musical. Surprise!
They have real special effects in this show.
I love special effects. Oh.
She was excited when she heard that about the play.
Super excited. So Zeke's all excited about it. He's like, yo, let me get in that fucking trapdoor, because he's going to be the only one to use it. But it's not safe yet. The teacher's all like, no, you can't.
She fell in there.
She did. That's what I said. She fell in there.
She said, oh, I nearly broke my leg there.
Yeah, she vanished into thin air, but it was just the trapdoor.
Didn't answer immediately.
Yeah.
Classic
Goosebumps fake out. So Zeke obviously is going to stay behind and use the trapdoor. He pulls Brooke back with him, but Brooke has bad allergies. She's sneezing, and he's like counting them like a fucking ref.
He slams the
1, 2, 3, 4. So they go down the trapdoor and they start taking the lift down, and it goes down like a mile beneath the school to some dark
bars. She said the
caves.
The light at the top the opening looks like it's a mile above them.
Yeah, and they don't have any lights down there.
It's like a skyscraper.
Well, it is a child's imagination, you know. you know how it goes.
This is like the town of Derry. It just keeps going down.
Oh, timely. Pennywise a weed.
Clear Stephen King influence in Stein's writing.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
In this book
for sure.
specifically.
Yeah, I noticed a bit of it. I noticed a bit of similarities there. So they're trapped down there and they hear like a monster breathing around them and they're like, what is that? What is that? Stop Stop fucking with me, Zeke.
She says, yeah, Zeke, why are you breathing like that? And he's like, what? And she's like, oh, it's not him.
And then they start panicking and they're trapped down there. But then in the next chapter they just get the lift working and they're right out of there.
Lose the switch.
But Zeke goes up first, and he doesn't put his hands down to lift her up right away. She's like, yo, what the fuck?
There like a couple minutes.
What the fuck? And then she pulls, his hands finally come down, and she's like, oh, finally. And he pulls up, but it's not Zeke. It's the tiny night janitor man.
With white hair.
Emil. And he's scary. And they think he's
Zeke's
the Phantom.
standing like 3 feet away, rubbing his head like, ha, sorry, I got caught.
So the next morning, fucking, I said Beverly. I got it
Beverly Marsh.
Got it on the fucking brain after we watched that last night. So she's walking with her brother to school and telling him all about the play. Fucking shit, what is her name?
Her?
Brooke.
His name.
Brooke! That's why the B was there.
What's the brother's name?
Fucking fine, I didn't write it down. So she's telling him all about the play and how scary it is. And she talked about how she one time showed him Poltergeist. And he didn't sleep for 3 weeks. And this play's scary, but it's not Friday the 13th scary.
Which I wouldn't say is very scary.
Exactly. Like, no, I would say Poltergeist is probably scarier. But that...
You've only seen the first Poltergeist.
That's what the one they're talking about.
The remake's alright.
I'm not gonna watch that remake.
Native Americans.
So
have to.
So
Brian.
That's our first
with family, Brian.
And only running theme in this one is it took 21 pages to get to our first pop culture reference. And they got them both right out of the way. So she gets to school, but someone's in her fucking spot, and she's like, yo, what the shit? And it's this new kid, Brian Colson, but he was just confused. So this school goes on, everybody leaves, and then Brooke, dumbass, forgot her science book and goes to get it. But when she opens it, there's someone sitting inside her locker, grinning at her. It's a fake out. It's just a rubber mask, and there's a note that says, "Stay away from my home, sweet home," in red crayon. And she then runs after Zeke and is like, yo, what the fuck, Zeke? Why'd you do this? And he's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It wasn't me. And then fucking... I'm just saying fucking so much. After class, I go to the auditorium. They're all practicing. But it's a blackout! And the Phantom...
Hey, who turned out the lights?
Who turned out the lights? Phantom sweeps in on a rope and glides down.
Sweeps in on a rope?
Yeah, he sweeps in.
He slides in on a rope?
Sweeps in and slides.
Is he sliding out or is he going across the floor?
Tarzaning a rope on down to the stage, doing the electric slide, and it's fine.
In the show, he looked like like a Wild West Michael Jackson.
I mean, he looked like the Phantom of the Opera.
He was swinging it like he's riding a horse, and then he slides on the floor and slips on his hat.
That is a gross exaggeration of what happened.
And he was his shadow was leaning to the side.
In the book, he was wearing a blue and green stitched mask of some kind.
Yeah, it was blue and green.
With a scar on it.
Like a yin yang or what?
I don't know. I imagined it looking like some kind of fucking Frankenstein, but,
I'm
whatever.
thinking bright neon green and blue.
I was thinking, do you remember that guy in Hunter x Hunter that Killua killed in the, the puzzle tower? Yeah. That, no, it wasn't Killua. It was the, Kurapika fighting the one guy that was pretending to be a spider, and he had Frankie's voice, and he was all
the zombie guy.
Yeah, the zombie looking guy.
Yeah,
that's pretty much what I imagined. But yeah, the Phantom just kind of stomps around a little bit and then just jumps into the hole. That's fucking it. So Brooke and Miss Walker thinks it's Zeke, and they go and they talk to him and they yell at him.
They always think it's Zeke because he's never around.
Yeah,
every time this shit is happening,
he just happens to not be around.
A dentist appointment.
They go up to the platform. They're looking down to yell at Zeke. But it's fucking empty. There ain't fucking no one there. So it just cuts to her walking home, and Zeke's getting out of his mom's car, and he's just like, I had a dentist appointment, couldn't have been me, but everyone still clearly thinks it's him. She also, Brooke repeatedly says how she thinks Brian is cute. This girl's thirsty for everyone.
Oh, he's a cute boy.
A cute young man.
I mean, you thought Brooke was a cute boy.
That's what I hoped.
That's what you hoped. These are kids, dude. Come on.
So they're back on stage, and Tina is just showing Brooke up left and right. She's just punking her, getting her all spooked out and shit. And then the Phantom shows right back up, and it's all a bunch of bullshit. Zeke forgot his math book. There's no night janitor. Tina's a bitch. This goes on and on for a little bit.
There's no night janitor.
There's no night janitor. Huh? Tina's a bitch?
Yeah, I would mention that guy first thing to someone else.
Yeah.
I ran into this guy underneath the school.
So, Brooke then dreams about fucking up the play. Zeke's all, we gotta prove it's Emil that's the fucking Phantom. And he forces her and Brian to go to the school at night. Doors are fucking locked. So they sneak in an open window.
Breaking and entering.
No, they didn't break and enter. The window was open. There was no breaking. They just intruded. Very big distinction. But they immediately fuck around and make a ton of noise. They're the worst. All these children are super incompetent. They go to the stage and they notice that one of Brian's immaculately painted backgrounds has the same note of "Stay Away from My Home, Sweet Home" on it.
He loved working on the play.
Loved working on this play.
Tina was a real bitch.
Tina's a real bitch.
Boy, he was doing some good painting. He was just happy to be in the production.
And someone fucked up his background work. He was working so hard on that, and then someone comes in and they all cry out, "Surprise!" It's Miss Walker.
I thought she rose up on the platform.
No. She just walked in.
She just appeared.
She thinks they did it. Now, why wouldn't she?
Yeah, she starts chewing them out.
And then
they're done. And they're like, no, we didn't do it. I don't want to hear any of this.
Not a word.
I'm tired of your nonsense. You've been joking around way too much.
Shut the fuck up, Zeke.
You're suspended. Or she said he was in trouble.
Yeah, he was out of the play, and she was going to call his parents.
If I find out either if you two had anything to do with this, you're out of the play too.
And then they notice that, there's a trail of paint. Whoever did this was very sloppy. So then they follow it, and it leads to Zeke's locker. Where she's like, open that shit. And he's like, what?
No, I'm not going to open it.
Open it. And then he just opens it. And there's a paint can in there, red paint. He did it. It's obviously him.
And he got removed from the school.
He got removed.
And grounded.
Forever. So they all walk home separately. Tina happens to be there and is a bitch. Because apparently this teacher won't drive them home in the middle of the night. She'll just say, walk home, kids.
They found their way there. They couldn't get home.
So, cut to, the play is only a week away. They're all rehearsing on Saturday. And there haven't been any pranks or phantoms since Zeke was kicked off. And apparently he was grounded so hard, they took away his VCR. And without that, no horror movies. And Zeke can't live without horror movies.
They love horror movies, they said.
So then someone glues Miss Walker's script together. A new prank finally happens, and she just cancels the fucking play.
That's it. The play is canceled.
It's canceled!
Next chapter.
Immediately. We calmed her down.
She overreacted.
There are so many just like, this happens! And it didn't happen. I know that is a staple of R.L. Stine's writing, is the clear fake out. It works for children's literature. It's simple. It just happens so many times per story. Like, it always starts on one. There's always at least 3 more, if not everything else in the book being that. It's getting a bit repetitive, RL. So, Brooke and Brian go to Zeke's house, where he's throwing a rubber ball to his dog. His dog doesn't like Brian for some reason. Very questionable why this dog doesn't like him. But the new guy that's playing Zeke's role, he's a bad actor. He sucks. So they got Robert sucks dick. So they gotta get Zeke back in the show by proving that they didn't do it. So they gotta break back into the school again.
The evidence.
back at it again.
If I find the evidence that I didn't do it, I'll be ungrounded. That's sound logic.
Absolutely sound. So they go back down to them tunnels, and there's they find a little room, a little door, and it's got books and a chair.
It's got a bowl of cereal that's still
of cornflakes.
The cornflakes are still fresh.
Somehow.
Someone has just been down here.
But then the door shuts behind them, and they're pushing with all their might. They can't get it open. And then the next chapter they realize, oh, it's a pole.
Wait a minute, didn't we push to get in? Now we got a pole to get out.
These kids.
Clever.
They are the opposite of clever. These are not clever girls. These kids would have died in Jurassic Park.
Well, there's one girl and two boys.
They would have died in Jurassic Park. They would have died in those raptors in that kitchen.
Yeah, they aren't hackers, for sure.
They are not hackers. So they get out there
they open the door and
there's a figure standing in the doorway.
Guess who?
It's Emil, the night janitor. Who isn't a night janitor?
The same guy that's been skulking around.
What are you doing in my room? You ruined it! You ruined it! And then they all run out of there. And as they're running out, so all the shit that's been happening, for the most part, is because of a 57-year-old homeless man that has been living underneath the school. That's kind of a hilarious twist, and I kind of love that. But
yeah, if this place is down there and no one's down there,
this 57-year-old homeless man is just gonna move in.
Where else is it gonna go?
So as they're running out of there, Zeke's dad just happens to show up, despite not really being in the book at all up until this point. And then they call the cops, and by the time they get down there, this Emil guy's long gone, completely disappeared.
They almost don't believe him, but then they're like, oh, we saw a room down there.
There was clearly living quarters. Someone was living there. They're like, all right, well, that's settled. Let's just focus on the play.
It was a homeless man the whole time.
It's just a crazy homeless guy. So it's the night of the play. Everyone's nervous. Everyone's getting ready. People are crowding around in the girls' dressing room. Two girls are like hogging the mirror from the star of the show, apparently. Don't know how that...
She's taking on the makeup, even though she doesn't wear it normally like all the other girls. She's not one of those people.
She's not like the other girls. So the play goes on as normal until the Phantom shows up. And she looks into his eyes, and it isn't Zeke. Who could it be? She keeps asking, who is it? Who could it be underneath this mask? In the show,
and he starts giving us whole speech.
But in the show, she looks into his eyes, and there's like flame JPEGs that flicker.
They put like GIFs over his eyes.
It was hilarious. A fantastic visual. But then he goes off the script and starts telling his whole story about how 70 years ago, I died by falling down that hole and became a real phantom until today, where you've put on my show.
Yeah, he never got to be in the show, so...
He wanted to be in the show.
It's a ghost.
So he knocked out Zeke and put himself in the show. So Brooke is like getting shook around.
You gotta come with me to eternal darkness. And he grabs her by the shoulders and shakes her harder than she's ever been shaken before.
And then she grabs his mask off and starts freaking out.
Wait a minute, that was actually the first thing she did.
But we're just
shaking her.
We're just going.
That's when she knew something was weird.
Going with the story. So she tears the mask off and starts freaking out. They don't say who it is. She didn't say who it is. How could it be him? Ah! And then the audience loves it. The curtain goes down. Zeke runs over, just wearing a t-shirt and jeans, and he's like, "What the fuck happened? Someone knocked me out." And then they...
Sounds a little more upset than that.
No, that's about right.
Someone hit me. Ugh, I got unconscious.
So they're like, oh, we gotta go find that fucking Phantom. They go back down to the underground tunnels. Nothing there. Completely empty. And they just come right back up in like 2 sentences, and they're at the party, and it's like, oh, well, we gotta go, our parents are waiting for us. And she's like, oh, let me stop off at my locker first, where she finds it's open, and she sees a new book in there. It's a yearbook from the year the original play was going on, and who's here as in the cast list as the leading role? It's Brian Coulson.
Wait, did she see his face?
Yeah.
When she took off the mask?
Yeah.
So she's surprised at this point.
Yeah. Because she can't believe it.
She just saw his face, though.
She could believe it's Brian, but she didn't know that Brian was a 72-year-old ghost.
So this is just evidence that...
It is, in fact, a ghost,
is a ghost.
yes.
He's
absolutely.
Dead. He could have put that book together.
This all could have been an elaborate prank the entire time.
There was no foreshadowing to this.
Not really.
Even though I was like...
No, actually there was
it's
foreshadowing.
Probably this Brian
Oh, no,
character.
I knew it was him, and that...
As soon as he showed
there
up,
was foreshadowing.
new character.
There was foreshadowing.
Like, he worked on the scenery. He didn't want to act or anything.
He was never around when the Phantom was. The dog was barking at him. Telltale sign of ghost. Dogs don't like ghosts.
Barely remember that dog.
That dog was there. That was Zeke's dog, and it was barking at Brian. Didn't like him. I knew it was Brian just because it's like, well, who the fuck else would it be? But that was when it was confirmed of like, it's clearly fucking
cute guy. He's really shy.
Really shy guy.
In the show, he said...
Showed up only after the play was started.
When they were doing the show and they were practicing, and he was in her chair. In the book, it's like a whole scene of like, you're in my chair. Oh, really? You think so? Being super shy.
Yeah.
In the show, she shows up and like, oh, it's not a big deal, and just sits next to him.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, I am the star of the play." And he's like, "Oh, wow, you're perfect." I was
Esmeralda.
I was the star of all the plays when I was in school. Wink.
Yeah. So this book is okay. It's fine.
Yeah, there's no real like threat.
Yeah, there's no real
Nothing scary.
I thought it was generally creepy when there was still a mystery of like, what is the thing running around? And then it's pretty funny that it's a 57-year-old homeless man.
Yeah, it's just a guy.
That's pretty funny, and I like that.
It's a guy living in a school.
It didn't drag as much as I thought some of the other ones had, but it didn't need to be. It could have been 20 pages shorter. I think that's the biggest thing I'm finding with all of these books, is that they rarely ever need to be the full 70 pages long.
Oh, no, you can cut them down.
You could cut down at least 20 pages of these, of just, like, unnecessary shit. But they gotta be that certain length to be the category they're in.
It's gotta be the shape of a book, you know?
Can't be a pamphlet. But yeah, I'd say this is about a 3 out of 5 book.
It was alright.
I enjoyed reading it.
I did not like it.
I wasn't bored. But it's not. I forgot about this episode because this is not a very memorable Goosebumps story.
It's just kind of like boring, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of just them preparing for the play.
When I think about the story, like, it's just Phantom of the Opera,
but not as good.
Like that's it. That's all that happens.
Yep, it's just Phantom of the Opera, but not.
Zeke had a weird accent in the show. He sounded like...
Well, they all do.
He originally... No, him specifically. Of course, they're all Canadian, so they're like, oh yeah, they sound like Canadian people. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm real sorry.
I don't want to do that. What are you doing?
But he sounded like... Was he Canadian? Or was he, like, Swedish? He sounded like a Dracula, Arnold Schwarzenegger impression when he was doing the Phantom.
Yeah, well, he was trying to do, like, a voice. Yeah, episode... I'd give it like a 2 bumps. I like the book more,
I kind of like the episode more for how...
It just did get through it real quick.
Fast-paced it was.
But I enjoyed the overall narrative in the book. I didn't dislike it at all.
The setup, the frame-up.
I thought the episode just did a lot of it weaker. Like...
Zeke got suspended. In the show, he was like... Oh, we think you did it. You're going to be in trouble.
You're out of the play.
And then kind of immediately...
Yeah, just solve the problem. That's... Every one of these books could just use without, like, which one less encounter with the problem. Like, I know that sounds weird of, like, remove instances of the problem happening.
Don't have the Phantom show up.
Just, like...
As much?
One fewer times. Like, we didn't need multiple times of the Phantom showing up. We didn't need all these things. We didn't need in the Girl Who Cried Monster, like 5 trips to the library. That's why the episode did that better. If it's like, she goes to the library once and like, there's a fucking monster there? I don't want to go back there until I have to.
They streamlined it in the episode of this one, where instead of going back to her locker after the fact and finding the book, the play ends, the Phantom just jumped in the hole, and she's like, what the fuck happened here? No one else is suspicious. They all get on stage, and what's-his-face, Zeke, is knocked out on the floor. She goes to pick him up, and right under his head is the yearbook, and she flips it right there.
There were some nice streamlines, but I feel like some of the stuff they streamlined a bit too much. I don't know, I'm kind of torn on the episode. I'd give it a 2. 2 out of 5 bumps.
Nice actors.
I thought the actors were terrible in the episode. I didn't like anyone. And I liked Zeke in the book. I liked the characters in the book.
She looked like a real brat.
Yeah, I didn't like Tina at all. But that was the point of Tina. You're not supposed to like Tina.
Yeah, she's a bitch.
Yeah. So what are we going to call this episode? Boys of the Auditorium? Phantom of the Boys?
I like that one.
Phantom Boys the Auditorium?
No, Phantom of Boyz Auditorium.
That's not even a grammatically correct thing.
Yeah. As usual.
Phantom of Boyz Auditorium?
Yeah, Boyz Auditorium.
Okay, whatever you say.
Brings to mind a good picture. A bunch of boys and a...
What L.R.L. Stein tinglers do you got for us? What trivia bits?
Apparently in 2016 there was a dual musical production. Dual being both here in Oregon and Portland and Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. They did a production of Goosebumps the musical, Phantom of the Auditorium.
And how was it?
Oh, I didn't see it, so I don't know at all.
What did the reviews say?
Apparently it was well received.
Cool. I'm a fan of horror musicals.
Yeah. For kids.
On June 22nd, 1969, Stein married Jane Waldhorn, an editor and writer who later co-founded Parachute Press in 1983. The couple's only child, Matthew Stein, born June 7th, 1980, works in the music industry.
Apparently, this story is based on the Phantom of the Opera.
Huh? That inspiration just flew right over my head. Did not see that coming. So, who would be a good matchup for the 57-year-old man that is the Phantom?
He's not the real threat, though. He's not the real Phantom.
He's the Phantom for most of the episode.
This is a two-stage question. There's the homeless man, and then there's the ghost.
Yeah.
So the homeless man, I could take his ass.
Yeah, he was a fragile, old, tiny man.
Ring up the cops, be like, yo, there's a homeless guy down here.
Just bam!
They
right
show
in his
up
face.
And get him.
Done.
Do all the work for me.
Yeah.
The ghost?
Ghost didn't seem to have any
really do anything.
powers. Yeah, he just wanted to be in a play.
In the episode, he was like in her dreams, or maybe that was just her taunting her before the play happened.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit,
but
he
didn't really do any damage.
No, he didn't really. He's just kind of a kid.
Basically, like pushed him away.
Yeah.
So a child could be
literally any child and literally any adult. Those are the two answers for both questions. If I were to make a sequel to this, I would definitely focus more on the 57-year-old homeless man and his adventures.
Adventures after or
before and after. It'd be like so it'd be like flashing back and forth of him, like, as a kid growing up to become the crazy 57-year-old homeless man.
He said when he lost his apartment in town, he remembered his dad
worked there for 30 years.
He worked at the school.
And told him all about these tunnels and stuff. So he probably, as a child, explored all those tunnels, and then when he became...
He just said he remembered his dad.
That's how he... Well, this is my sequel. He's explored all those...
follow the canon, or are you just going to make up a bunch of shit?
They didn't expressly count out that he explored these tunnels. He knew his way around down there.
Maybe he remembered this.
He knew his way around down there, and he knew his way all around that school. He was like jumping around, putting on costumes. He knew his way. He knew his way around. So he, as a kid, was clearly going all over the place in there. And then as an adult, he has to go back down there, and he finds the Phantom again, and he has to confront that kid who didn't really die.
So he has to kill him.
He has to kill that fucking kid so he can get his job as the night janitor that he never had. This is his dream, to be the night janitor for the school, and he's gonna fight for that right.
I would do a sequel where it turns out the boy who disappeared when he fell in the trapdoor 70 years ago, he actually fell into the future, which would be the present story. Brian, he showed up as that kid, and then he fell back down there, went back to his own time. The timeline is restored.
Yeah, that's an alright one. I think that's gonna do it for us for the most part. We went through all the things. We had some trivia. We did our verses. We named the episode, and we made up some bullshit.
They reference this book in Goosebumps, the game.
Oh, wow! I'm pretty sure they reference almost every book, at least of the original 70s.
But this one specifically, you know it's in there.
Okay. Next time is Piano Lessons Can Be Murder.
Alright, that doesn't sound scary at all.
Yeah, I don't remember...
start eating them?
I don't remember this one at all. I remember there's like hands playing a piano on their own.
Forces you to play the piano.
I don't know.
Forever.
We're gonna find out. Last time we said I confused this episode with the. I think you said it, the Phantom of the Megaplex.
No, I said like that's the Disney Channel original movie.
Oh no,
Phantom of the Multiplex.
Multiplex is the Are You Afraid of the Dark episode. That's what I'm thinking of.
Now I gotta look this up because you got me confused here.
There's a Phantom or the Are You Afraid of the Dark episode. I think it's an Are You Afraid of the Dark episode where you are there. It's a
I'm seeing two here.
Theater that has like the monsters come out of the screen. Maybe that's a later Goosebumps one.
Disney is Phantom of the Megaplex.
Enthralling Googling going on here.
You got one finger.
You have two.
I'm only using one finger. Out of respect.
For what?
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
Phantom of the Megaplex, Disney Channel original movie.
If you know
out on
there,
Blu-ray.
If you know in the audience of no one that's going to be watching these, tell us. Let us know. Piano lessons.
Phantom of the Megaplex has an 80% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
All right. I'm pretty sure that's...
If you're looking
generous.
for Disney Channel original movies from the year 2000, you can't go wrong.
All right. See you fuckers later.